What?
What's up, y'all?
I didn't even know this was live right here.
Nonetheless, here we are. What's happening?
Yes.
What's happening? What's happening?
What is going on? Happy Thursday to you. So this is not our typical day of coming
No,
in,
it's not.
but we had something special. We're like, we were just talking actually at breakfast this
That's
morning,
right.
and we were like,
Over a
we
nice
need
bowl
to,
of oatmeal.
right? We need to share some more insight and details. What with other marriedpreneurs concerning investing and really making your money work for you, as we are all building our businesses. And since the hubby here has his own, that's his background in banking and wealth management, we're like, let's just go live. There's so many different things going on in the world today that really puts us at a great advantage when you know about it and when you know what to do about it, how to think about it. So here we are. And in case this is your first time with us, let's do a quick intro.
What's up? I'm O.L. Buckley.
And I'm Sway Buckley.
That's right. Co-host of Married Life the podcast, as well as Marriedpreneur Life strategist.
Yes. So married entrepreneurs come to us to sync high-level systems with laser clear strategy and build out a legacy purposefully, powerfully, and profitably in sync. And so it doesn't matter what marriedpreneur type you are, because there are different types. There's no cookie cutter type of married entrepreneur couple. And what we found over the last, 10-ish years of doing this and working together on a full-time basis, we've learned that there are three primary marriedpreneur types. And so we've learned that there are the indiepreneur types, there are the spousalpreneur types, and there are the couplepreneur types.
That's right.
And so those indiepreneur types, just in case you don't know what those are, indiepreneur types, that's where like both spouses are building individual businesses. Okay. That's the indiepreneur type. And then you have the spousalpreneur type. That's where one spouse is like the entrepreneur and the other spouse is actually supporting that spouse as they are building that business as well. That's a spousalpreneur.
Then there's the couplepreneur. This is where the both of you are working in the same business, building it together.
So you may see like, oh, wait, we're indie, or we're spousal, or we're transitioning from spousal to indie, or we're a couple, whatever that may be. We're just glad that you're here, but do let us know in the comments. We're like on a couple different platforms here, so our eyes may be going kind of all around places. And if you are on one of the platforms where you can share it, please do go ahead and tag or press that share button so other marriedpreneurs can get this. And we're just going to dive into some good gold nuggets when it comes to investing. And before we do that, I think it's important that we share a little bit about quick, I guess, housekeeping, because it's necessary to know we put a lot of work into getting some great high value content out specifically for married entrepreneurs and the unique opportunities that we have. I was going to say challenges, but I was going to say opportunities that we have. And one of the ways that we do that is through the Marriedpreneur Life podcast. And so they're really like trainings as we go live each week with that. So we want to let you know every Thursday that new episode drops, and today is Thursday, so guess what? A new episode just dropped. Want to make sure you all know about that. Really what we're talking and focusing about this week is about planning as married entrepreneurs, planning and potholes, and making sure that we are not allowing our plan to become the God in our heart, and that we are in position to surrender as we make our plans, as we ought to, but then we ought at the same time surrender those plans to God and not expect him to just jump on our bandwagon, because that never ends well, like ever at all. And so really walking through that and understanding what that looks like, building together as we're doing it just in real time. And so that's what's going on today. You can head over to marriedpreneurlife.com and check out all of that episode today or any other episode concerning marriage, marketplace, and ministry all together on one big juicy platform at marriedpreneurlife.com. Also, lastly, today is the last day. If you did not hear about this, we are partnering with our amazing membership mentor. If you are a married entrepreneur who is seeking to have some level of recurring revenue, we're going to be talking about investing today, but recurring revenue through membership sites, because we know that many marriedpreneurs are experts at what they do, but they don't have a profitable structure in place to actually create ongoing, sustainable, subscription-based revenue in their business. And so our membership mentor is actually doing a training on that, and he only opens the door to this training once a year. Today is the last day. If you are interested in learning more about it, I'm happy to send you information. There's details in the link in our bio, but if you want information on the membership, just go ahead and you can drop membership or subscription. Just do membership in the comments there. We'll make sure we get some info to you. We want to make sure we get that out, because whenever we find some great content, great training, and information that really transforms how we do business, we want to make sure that we are conduits and share that content with you all as well. So that's it for right now for this piece. Let's just dive into the investing. Where you want to start?
Where do I want to start?
Yeah, where you want to start?
I'm going to start.
He got his coffee in his hand, y'all. He's ready.
I have a whole little note section I'm going to lay out for you guys. We're going to talk about assets, opportunities, and execution.
Oh, okay. So there we go.
So, that's where I'm going to start.
Okay, go.
All right. So I remember when I was going into the office every day, working in the office with other investment reps and so forth. And I remember that there was a very seasoned gentleman that I worked with, much, much older gentleman. He actually, based on his time in the industry, one would have thought that he would have retired at this point. He didn't retire. I only bring him up to mention this, to say this. I learned some very, very valuable things from him during that time that I could not have learned otherwise. I want to share that with you by just creating just sort of a big overview perspective of how to think about investing. So the world is changing fast. A lot is changing very quickly, but the world didn't used to change as fast as it does now. In other words, there was a time where you had to go through decades, multiple decades, to see various changes, various transitions, and then you would get sort of this rear view perspective that can help you chart a course forward. So if you lived long enough and you were alive during the time and you were working at the time, you would have known about, the stock market crash of the 80s, and then the dot-com bust and boom of the mid-90s, and then the mortgage crisis, which led to a foreclosure issue in 2007 and 8. And so all these different things, these milestones, these pivotal moments in our world and in the economy changed how we think about investing and how we think about business and really how we think about life as a whole. So three things that have always been present, no matter what has changed in any economy, even today, the economy that you and I are in today, three things are always constant. There's always assets. There's always assets. Assets are anything that you can use or that you can leverage to create the result that you want. So money is a type of asset. Real estate is a type of asset. Securities, or more commonly known stocks, bonds, mutual funds, those are all types of assets. It gets bigger than that because even people, we are a type of an asset.
Yes.
So there's that, right? Knowledge, skill, and experience, those are assets. So there's always been assets in every economy, even the one you and I are in today. Secondly, there's always been opportunities. And I could even go so far as to say, especially in calamity, whenever markets have crashed, whenever there's been great economic challenges, there's always been opportunities. It may not have looked like an opportunity. It may not have been commonly thought as an opportunity, but there's always been opportunities in every economy. Third and last, final, there's always been the requirement for execution. When you have an asset, when you have an opportunity, you need to then execute on that opportunity. So we can just say AOE. There's always been assets, always been opportunities, and always been a need for execution. So one of the things that comes up a lot, and I'm sure you've heard it, I'm sure you may have said it yourself, there's always this interest in real estate. People want to get into the real estate space. People want to move into the real estate space. It's like, hey, you know what? I could create an asset, a required asset that can pay me while I'm working this 9 to 5, while we're also simultaneously building this business. What can we do to bring in and to generate more money, more revenue, so that we can build out our family legacy and accomplish those things that we chart and say we want to do, December planning for the new year, all these things that we want to do in both our family as well as our business. Well, it's going to take an asset. You're going to have to see an opportunity, and you're going to have to execute. But real estate is one of those common ones that always comes up because people like real estate for a couple of reasons. One, it's tangible. You can see it. If you own a house around the corner, you can drive by that house and see it. You can put your hands on that house and touch it. It is a tangible asset, and that gives people a sense of security because it's accessible, it's real, hence real estate, right? So it's not something figurative, something sort of ethereal or nebulous or something intangible, but it is something tangible. So people like real estate, but there's all kind of angles to real estate. There's all kind of approaches to real estate. There's all types of ways, and let me say this way, opportunities within real estate. Some people say, hey, I want to be a landlord. I want to own some homes and have people paying me rent. Yeah, I'll fix a toilet. Yeah, I got, a husband or a brother or somebody who can install a ceiling fan. Hey, if that means I got to go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get me a paintbrush and some paint, I'll go in and paint the baseboards and do all that kind of stuff. People like real estate, and many want to own property to collect rent. Get somebody paying you rent every single month. That's one approach. There's other approaches to real estate. You could actually own real estate without actually owning tangible real estate. And you can invest in what is, commonly referred to or what is called a REIT. It's like you own the real estate, but you really own the paper that really classifies the real estate. And so you can collect money, you can collect, as that asset class grows, I'm using terms here, asset class is a classification of a type of asset. As it grows, you can earn money by owning interest in these things. So there's all types of approaches and angles that you can get into investing in real estate. Go ahead.
Can I say something real quick? Sure. So I'm here just to make sure that, I know you're so accustomed to doing this he has his own company where he consults companies, actually other corporations, not so much individuals, but individuals need to be on this and inside of this, especially married entrepreneurs. And so one of the things, I just wrote him a little note. I'm like, you need to let the people know a little bit about your background. I think the only times I know, but I want to say this because he can just be like, yeah, I've done this, I've done that. But let me tell you, the wife is gonna be like, let me tell you about my husband real quick. Okay, so he's gonna tell you his part. I'm gonna put in the pieces, but if you choose to leave out some areas as well, I'm gonna let you say however you want to say that.
Why don't you go ahead and lay it out? Because I know you're gonna put all the seasoning on it.
Well, you can start. I just wanted to make sure, because whenever we show up here on this platform as married entrepreneurs, it's more so like, oh, this is what they do, like helping other married entrepreneurs and strategy and coaching. And yes, but our background, and specifically in your background, mine is more so in entrepreneurship, running creative arts, staffing companies and consultancies. But then your background being in banking and wealth management, being the top producer at one of your companies where they sent him to Spain to get an award for bringing in the money. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? And so when he went on to do his own business, he started helping individuals or families in that area, teaching them the behind the scenes of what's going on in wealth management and banking that they're not going to tell you when you walk into a bank or you walk and you ask questions about, wealth management in that area. So that's how he started off. And then it grew into a consultancy where now it's more so on the commercial level for the most part. But as married entrepreneurs, we're like, you all are corporations too, right? So you all, regardless of where you are and growing, is really making sure that you have the understanding to grow your assets from where you are today as you're building out your business as well, but really having the mindset of an investor and as legacy builders as you're building together. So I'm going to say that, but you can dive in to the other things that you've done. I just wanted to give an overview because sometimes you don't.
So I came into the banking industry what was called the worst time to do it. It was in 2008. Prior to that, I was working for a boutique outfit that was a real estate investment company. And we were lean and mean and crushing it for all intents and purposes. So you're talking a couple of $100,000 every month in gross revenue coming into what would have been a 6-person outfit, a 6-person operation. So we were on the grind, and I really cut my teeth and learned a whole lot just about the investment mindset and really how to leverage real estate, especially on the residential side. So 2007, 8 happens. It looks like the sky is falling, and that outfit dissolves, and then everybody's kind of like looking for the parachute. Where's next? I'll save you all the little in between stuff. I get into the banking industry. Boom, here I am coming in entry level, and I hit the ground running. That experience I had at that other company really served me well, because I was able to really step into what was an entry level role at the bank at the time initially, blow it up, and really be larger than the position required. And then that moved me into other positions in the bank. So now you're talking about bringing in over 50 million, $80 million in loan volume, and really becoming a top producer for the bank, which that translates to a whole lot of revenue for the bank. Let me just put it that way. And so what ends up happening is I get promoted, and then I start crushing it even in more sales, and my network and opportunities expanded. And I just stepped into those things with confidence. So you're talking about business owners, law offices, hospitals, doctors, dentists, physicians, and I'm servicing all of their needs, personal and business. And then that just blows me up to get recruited from this bank and from that bank. And so, yeah, it was a great opportunity. But the thing I got the most from it is exactly what I'm giving here to you all right now. And that is the insight, the perspective that I couldn't get otherwise. So all the awards and the accolades and the travel and all that stuff was great. Yes, it was. It felt good. Yes, it did. The greatest takeaway was the knowledge base that I got from it. And that's really what I'm here serving and giving today. And that's what I want to share with you all today. So
thank you. Right? No, you did great. You did great. You were pretty thorough with that. So thank you. I just wanted to make sure we put that bug in there.
Yeah. So as I'm talking, as I'm going through some things, I'm going to share some stuff with you that's going to be really important. I want to talk a little bit about interest rates and how that translates to you as an investor. I'm going to talk a little bit about Airbnb, some stuff you may not have known. I'm going to share that with you because I am sure there's somebody who was like, yeah, Airbnb, that's what I want to talk about. And also investing in other forms of real estate, people who may want to invest in commercial real estate. So I'm going to drop those 3 nuggets for you guys. But as I'm talking, I want to encourage you, if you're hearing stuff and it's resonating with you, it's connecting with you, you're like, yep, I want to get involved. I want to get in the game. And I'm going to say to you, type ready in the comment section as I'm going through this. And we're going to take note of that and make sure that I've got some information I want to give you. It's actually going to be an audio download. It's going to help you really think about capital and money that's going to enable you to invest in any one of these areas that I'm going to be talking about. All right. So type ready in the comment section. Here we go. Let's continue to roll it down. All right. So right now, there is this talk about the Federal Reserve Bank. And I'm trying to get too technical here, but the Federal Reserve Bank controls what is called Fed interest rates. And the reason why that's important, and the reason why you want to know that, don't shun and turn off your mind and say, oh, that sounds too technical. This is one technical thing you want to know, because the Fed reserve interest rate, or what's called prime rate, impacts yours and my ability to get capital so we can invest. It's basically the cost of money to get the money so you can make money. And you need to know what the cost of money is, because the cost of money impacts every other aspect of you making money. So they have a Fed rate. Think of it like a floor, a baseline, right? So the Federal Reserve says, all right, it's going to be 50 basis points. What is that? That's half of 1%. All right, that's all that is. If 1% is made up of 100 equals 1 whole, then 50 of that 1 whole are the bases that make up that 1 whole. So the Fed says 50 basis points. What does that mean? That's half of 1%. That means if you go get a loan and the bank says we're going to charge you 4%, that 4% sits on top of that Fed rate, half of 1%. So now your 4% is what? 4.5%. So you have to add in the Fed rate on top of the loan rate that the institution or that capital source or that lender is going to give you. Now you take that information and you apply that towards whatever you're going to get that capital for so you can get into real estate. Now, that's important to know because you need to know how much it's going to cost you to play the game. All right. Now, with that being said, some people say, and I've had clients who were like, yep, I have a house that either I own free and clear, or I have a house that has some equity in it. And I don't have $20,000 sitting in my checking account at the moment, but I may have some dormant equity in my home that I could draw out through a refinance and use that money to go and buy me my first multifamily resident or my first whatever, single family residential house that I want to lease out, right? So you need to understand what is the refinance, because you're going to have to refinance that property in order to pull out that equity to have that cash. You need to know what is the refinance rate. Well, what makes up the refinance rate? I just told you at the very beginning. The Fed loan rate on top of your institution or your lender's rate. So right now, a refinance rate, 30-year fixed mortgage, is like 5.25. And you get some more information about that. There's 15-year and 10-year and so forth. So you think about those things. Now, here's why this information is still so important. Because if you're driving through your neighborhood or driving through another neighborhood and you said, man, I saw this house that we've been driving by on our way to Costco, and this house is just sitting there. And man, wouldn't it be great to buy it, to fix it up, and to lease it out? Wouldn't it be great to do that? Well, you got two things to consider. If you're going to go the route of taking equity out of the house you live in, if that's your situation, or should I say, or if you're going to go and get a loan to acquire that property that you want to fix up and lease out, right, to invest in real estate. Well, there's a mortgage rate. There's a rate that's going to cost you to buy it. You need to know what that is. Are you going to do a 30-year on that investment property, a 15-year, a 10-year? Every one of those tiers, 30-year, 10-year, 15-year, has an interest rate associated with it. You need to know what that is. You need to know what it's going to cost you to play the game. So that's really important. Why does that matter? Because there's a common saying in business. You got to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know if you're winning or losing. You don't know if it's a good deal or not a good deal. And that matters. People often, especially new real estate investors, they get so excited about the property that there's a lot of information about the property. Oh, it's got 4 bedrooms and 3 baths, and it's got a 2-car garage, and it's in this neighborhood, in this school district. And we can tell you all the stuff about the property, but what about the money? What are the details and the specs and the specs on the money? Because you got to get the money in order to buy the property. And you need to know that information just as much as you need to know the information about the property itself. All right. I know this sounds thick and it sounds like a lot, but I really can't go any further until we have a decent handle on this information. All right. Because we're building up our knowledge base, our understanding foundationally speaking. So this is just the basics, the building blocks of understanding how the money works. All right. So you say to yourself, you know what? I'm grabbing it somewhat. It's making sense to me somewhat. I know that what you're saying is important and I need to get that information. All right. Type ready in the comment section because I got some stuff that's going to make it even more plain, even more simpler that I'm not necessarily able to do right now. But you can type ready in the comment section and I'm going to get that to you. And that's, did I say something?
Yeah. Nope.
All right, so that's important. Now let me kind of jump to the sexy part, right? Because that part's not really attractive. I mean, it's necessary, but it's not really fun necessarily, right? Unless you're one of those CPA types out there. But here's something that everybody's kind of attracted to: Airbnb. Airbnb. You may have stayed at an Airbnb and thought, man, it'd be really cool to own something like this, right? I just want to give you an overview of Airbnb because I'm talking about assets, but now I want to kind of slip into the opportunity section, okay, in real estate. There's massive opportunity to invest in real estate right now, massive opportunity. And Airbnb is just one of those big and massive opportunities that are out there, all right? So let me say this about Airbnb. couple of things you may not realize. In the entirety of the vacation industry, by the way, Airbnb falls into the vacation industry. In the entirety of the vacation industry. So every player, every company, every aspect you can think of in the vacation industry, especially when it comes to accommodations and lodging and so forth, of the entire pie, Airbnb is 20% of that entire pie. That entire pie. Now, let me put some numbers to that so your hair can fly back as you catch this. You ready? First pitch. The entire vacation industry is $87 billion. $87 billion. You know how much Airbnb is of that $87 billion? $20 billion. There is a $20 billion opportunity in the Airbnb space of everybody who's going on trips, road trips, vacations, and travel and all of that. All right. So that's a really big number that creates a ton of opportunity. And why does that matter? Because you want to go into a space where there's opportunity to make money. And if you don't go into a space, if we don't go into a space where there's opportunity to make money, we're going to get frustrated. And when we get frustrated long enough, we get discouraged. Okay? So you can type ready in the comment section and say, you know what? I know that there's more to this, and you better believe that there is more to this. I'm going to get you some information that's going to be useful and helpful and actionable to set you up to invest. All right? Whole lot more that I can say. I'm going to stop there. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, that was like a whole class. That's all I'm gonna say. So thank you for bringing it. I know you were very passionate about it, and we wanted to share. So anyway, we hope that you all as legacy builders and investors are seeing and positioning yourself to even invest at a higher level if you haven't started investing, or actually begin doing that. So this is the first step. I would say go back and run this back. If you need to, if you have questions, you know where to find us. You can reach out, let us know in the comments. What'd you say for them to put? Ready in the comments below or in the DMs, either one of those. And then for questions as well too, definitely do that, because it is literally a different language. Like it's a whole nother language, which is why I sit back and I'm just like, listen, every time I hear you talking to your clients, I hear you walking people through this process, I'm just like, wow. And you just learn it as you're in it. And if you are not in it, then you stand on the outside of it and then you miss the opportunities. And so that's what we don't want you all to do. So hopefully this has been helpful for you all. We hope maybe we can come back soon and do another part to this too, and even focus even in different areas too. So let us know what those questions are. Let us know those areas that you're looking to invest and want insight on, and based on what we have done already in our own lives, based on what our specialty is, that's all we will answer. If we haven't done it, we won't answer that. We'll just send you somewhere else and say, I don't know. But we do know enough to know that you do want to be investing. And today, if you haven't already started, to start learning so you can be a wise investor and let your money grow. So hopefully that's been helpful for you. You all have an amazing rest of your day. Until next time,
keep living
purposefully,
powerfully,
and profitably.
and sync.
All right. Peace out. This thing is falling. You gonna help me? Oh man. Oh, I hope it ain't.